I guess I should have checked it because I didn't have my headphones weren't turned on through StreamYard anyways. Any crap. Can we just restart? Welcome back. I can't even get it right the second time. Oh my goodness, you guys. Should I just close up shop? End of YouTube. Davey Deathray's done. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It is St. Patrick's Day. How cool. How cool that I, kept on talking for 2 minutes and, without any sound. That's amazing. You guys are so incredibly awesome for hanging out. 19 folks kicking it with us. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff. Yeah, guys, very busy on YouTube earlier today, so I just decided to hang back and sweep up all of the folks that are doom scrolling on the East Coast there. So we're going to talk a little bit of horror news here. And then, if you guys want to keep on hanging out, I have a super chat goal started here that we can, if you want to hang out for a little bit longer, we can hang out a little bit longer, but I understand it's already late. So we can just get into the business. But I do want to say what's up to y'all hanging out in the chat. And then we'll go ahead and get rolling with a couple things here. Man, already, didn't even get rolling, and I already feel so off my game. Gosh, guys, hopefully this isn't a complete disaster. We'll see. We got Zach hanging out. What's happening, Zach? Jamie Lee Curtis, Unhinged. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. Maybe Unhinged is a bit of a word that would just grab your attention more than anything else, but we're going to talk about that. We got Antonis Andriotis kicking it with us, one of our great channel members. What's happening, Antonis? Tara Brewer jumping on in to remind everyone this is the 26th birthday of Final Destination. All right. Well, happy birthday to Final Destination. Adrian James kicking it with us. What's happening, Adrian? We got Lizzie with a Y, one of our great channel members. What's happening, Lizzie? Tia, another one of our awesome channel members. And Linda, yet another incredible channel member hanging out. What's happening, ladies? Welcome on in. Horror Becomes Her hanging out with us as well. Good evening right back at you. Hope you're doing well. Oh, you used to be Gigi Kiki Joy. All right. Well, welcome on back in. Thank you so much for kicking it with us. What's happening, Ryan Michael? My brother from another mother and one of our great channel members. What's happening, Ryan? So good to see you. Thanks for kicking it with us here as well. Jamie saw Leprechaun in the theater. That's right. I've got a poll about the original Leprechaun film. I just watched it for the first time. Wait, it wasn't... Oh, gosh. I probably saw that movie for the first time like 7 or 8 years ago, something like that. And then a couple years ago, I covered it on the channel and watched the first 2 sequels for the very first time ever. So, yeah, I quite like the original Leprechaun. I think it's pretty charming. So I was just curious to know what you guys think of it. Looks like most everyone feels, pretty positive on that one. All right, let's see what else we got going on. We got Sean G. What's happening, G? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Who else do we have here? Talking Star Wars, another one of our great channel members. How are you doing, Shannon? We got Todd Bound. What's happening, Todd? Another one of our awesome channel members. I don't know if I said it, but Sean G is one of our great channel members as well. So let's see what else we got going on here. We got Saigon joining us. What's happening, Saigon? So good to see you. Christine is kicking it with us as well. What's happening, Christine? How are you doing? Iconic in the house. What's happening, Iconic? Thank you for joining us. And we got Carrie Crave Cinema. What's happening, Carrie? One of our great channel members. Hope you are doing well. She really likes the first Leprechaun too. Yeah, it's really fun. Rick B. Jammin'. What's happening, Rick? Welcome on in. Yeah, guys, whatever. We don't need to dive into the whole franchise here tonight, although that could be fun discussion to have once we talk about some news. But yeah, I think the Leprechaun movies, like that first one, total classic, just fun, tongue-in-cheek little movie. I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel, Leprechaun 2, but I really enjoy Leprechaun 3. And then I don't really enjoy anything else in the franchise. I haven't seen like Origins, and I haven't seen that reboot or anything like that. So I know there's some stuff that I'm missing that I haven't seen. But as far as the Warwick Davis movies, I've seen all of those. And really, it's just about 1 and 3 for me. Those are the two I get some good enjoyment out of. Holy cow, we got Jigsaw jumping on in, kicking off the super chats with $5, saying, "Top of the evening to ya. Now where be me lucky charms?" Was that okay? Was that an all right, like, stereotypical Irish accent? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to jump into that. Yeah, I guess we can cover that story first. There's, this whole thing with the Buffy show, which I found what appears to be the legit screenplay for the pilot episode online. It wasn't difficult to find. I'm guessing this is it. It looks like it's really not up to par, the writing, and I heard, anyways, we're going to get into that, all of that. Anyways, I will bring up the actual script when we get into that story. And yeah, we'll talk about Jamie Lee Curtis. Just can't stop talking about Halloween in a weird way. All right, let me make sure there's no one else to say what's up to. Jigsaw, I don't know if I officially said hello or welcome, but one of our great channel members who's just been really making the super chat game happen lately. So thank you so very much. Okay, you guys want Jamie Lee Curtis first? Is that what you want first? Let me just do a little something here. Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm just gonna call her JLC. Can't stop being weird about Halloween. Oh, to keep it very simple there with that headline. Okay, there we go. There's that. Okay, cool. And then I think what else we can do here is we can do that. Okay. Let's see how this goes, guys. Let's see how this goes. All right. Okay, cool. So we got that up there. All right. Okay. Well, before we get into that, I'll do like a little bit of a host bit kind of thing over here. Because I may cut this up as its own video. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into some news here. All right, how about it? All right, guys. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis just can't stop being weird when she talks about Halloween, unfortunately. It seems like she just lately has this inclination to just kind of make it a little odd and a little strange, whether it's her interaction with other members, of the alumni for the franchise, or if it's just what she has to say about the movies kind of offhand and her experience making them. I want to get into this article here from Variety. There we go. We've got a headline that reads, "Jamie Lee Curtis likely would have passed on Jason Blum's Halloween sequel if she knew it was a trilogy. So she used it to get a development deal." Okay, so that doesn't really sound so bad. In fact, if you checked out my video on, Kevin Williamson saying he's probably going to take a step back from Scream 8, you'll know that I said I think that's a bargaining chip. And I think he wants to make this other movie, and he wants Paramount to come in and say, hey, please make Scream 8 because Scream 7 went bonkers, and we'll help you make this movie. Okay, so right here we're seeing how this has been previously applied to, someone's experience, working in a franchise, in a horror franchise nonetheless. So nothing weird from what we can see there. But let's dive into the article because it starts to get a little strange almost right off the bat here. It says, Jamie Lee Curtis didn't know she was about to take on 3 more Halloween movies when she said yes to David Gordon Green's 2018 film, the sequel to her 1978 film. During a South by Southwest panel titled If Not Now, When, If Not Me, Who, Pivoting and Manifesting, Curtis opened up about filmmaking and her career as an actress and producer. She first named her appreciation for Jason Blum. Quote, "The only reason I'm sitting in this chair today is because of Jason. Jason Blum, who runs Blumhouse, is the one who brought back the Halloween movies," she said. However, when she got the call, she thought it was one movie and didn't hear until way later that they were planning to do more. Okay, really quick, I just want to say something about that. I don't understand how that's possible, really. That she didn't know, that she didn't look at the language in the contract that like, hey, this is signing up for one movie, but if it does well, the option is to do these other two and you're agreeing to the option, or whatever the heck was in there. I mean, she's been in the industry as an actress for almost 50 years, and I know she's been producing for a while as well. So you'd think that she would have checked for these things, or, you know, that she probably has a really good entertainment lawyer that should have mentioned those facts. So I really don't get where that's coming from, but let's go ahead and check out the rest of her quotes. Okay, sorry guys, you're seeing a little bit about the behind the scenes here. There you go. Okay, here we are. Quote, if they had come to me and said it's going to be a trilogy, I don't think I would have said yes. Jason Blum is notoriously cheap. How do you make low budget movies? You don't pay people. That's the model. So she used it to her advantage. Quote, while we were editing and doing the mix, David said, you know it's a trilogy. I was like, no. I went to Jason Blum and said, I have some ideas. Maybe you could give me a first look deal. Just pay me a little money. I said to Jason, how about a little development deal? And I owed him 2 Halloween movies. So what was he gonna say? So yeah, that just shows here. Here, I'm gonna go. That just shows here that she, you know, already knew how to pivot it to, you know, get it to be something that was advantageous to her. Now, something I haven't said yet in covering this piece is that she is an executive producer on all 3 of these movies. So, you know, she really should have known what she was signing up for as far as being an actress goes. And then I would imagine signing up for Kills and Ends as a producer was probably part of this development deal that she wanted, but it also comes with another stipulation that kind of ties into that Kevin Williamson Scream news. And then we'll get into just my opinion on, you know, what she has to say about these movies in general. So Curtis wanted the extra money to pay Russell Goldman, a filmmaker who was working with her to try and get, quote, Mother Nature made. Goldman now works in development for Curtis's Comet Pictures, and he's making his directorial feature debut at South by Southwest with Sender. The premiere will be the first time Curtis ever sees the Comet Pictures logo on the big screen. So yeah, she basically wanted to secure a little bit of a bag to make another movie, and all of that is well and good. But what I really take issue with is just her, I don't know, she makes Jason sound like, first off, she's like, thank you. And then she rips into him for calling him cheap, essentially. And, you know, sort of gives us an eye into, or at least a look into that whole process with her. And I don't really buy that she didn't know that it was going to be a trilogy. I don't know. To me, it just seems like she's kind of taking a shot at the studio and she's making it sound like, you know, this kind of thing was like pushed on her, essentially, which I just think is bizarre. And I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of over, you know, Laurie Strode as a character. I think a lot of us are. And I'm just sort of like, it's just maddening me with Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't get it. I understand she doesn't like horror and all that kind of stuff. She used to be really sweet about the Halloween franchise, and like the way she talked about it up through like H2O, it seemed like she had really good things to say. And then I don't know if it was having to be a part of Resurrection and then not being included for a little bit and then her coming back. It just seems very bizarre. You know, everyone knows about her, you know, the way that she kind of went on tour with those movies, talking about and harping on the trauma. And I think the movies kind of focused on that enough, and it just seemed so over the top that she was piling it on. And I don't know. It's well within her right to say what she wants to say. I'm not telling her to shut up. I would just like it if she didn't talk about Halloween anymore. So I made this little, I made this thing. I was like, there's got to be a meme creator for this, right? Now, I'm not advocating for violence. I just think it's really funny. To me, it's sort of the get Halloween's name out of your mouth, you know? Get Halloween's name out of your mouth, Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, anywho, that is my little rant on a JLC here for the day. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I way off on this? Am I overreacting? There's a lot of comments in the live chat, so maybe I'm just being a bit of a grumpy pants. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think in the live chat. If you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments. Give me your thoughts down there. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff so you don't miss a thing. Okay, let's see. Let's see what you guys have to say, because I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that's unhinged here. Maybe she's not being... I just think it's like it's starting to pile on where it's like every time she's in the news talking about Halloween, it's something that's just... I'm just like, why did she have to say that? You know? Why? Why Jamie Lee Curtis? Let me see what we got. Stop the tease, just tell us. Hey, you know, I gotta build up a little bit. I gotta build up. Let's see here. You guys are talking, oh my gosh, talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That should be fun. Holy cow, 30 people watching right now. Guys, if you're watching, please hit that like button. You know, here's the only time I get bummed out is when I see a shitload of votes. It'll be like, oh, you got like 64 votes, and then I don't even get like 40 likes on the stream, and I'm like, oh man, all those people jumped in and voted, and they didn't even like the stream. That's too bad. I think JLC is saving face, to be honest. Yeah, she just takes these weird, like, backhanded jabs at the franchise. It's just, I don't know, it's very bizarre to me. She made like a lot of money from those 3 movies as a producer. She must have, you know. I mean, she made more money than any of the other actors, I'm guessing. So I don't know what she has to really complain about, but yeah. Let's see here. Vampire Willow. We got a little... I've watched Buffy all the way through once, and I've probably seen like a little more than half of it like another time. I haven't seen it twice though, so some stuff is sort of... I just remember certain patches not really loving the show, but not hating it, you know, but really liking it overall. She knows how to play her cards. I can respect it. Yeah, I just don't know why she has to like kind of make it sound like... I don't know. I think, you know, trying to make Jason Blum sound really cheap, which, I mean, I guess that's just the model for horror, is they, you know, try to not spend a shitload of money and all that kind of stuff. I just think it's really weird that every time she comes out and talks about the franchise, I'm just left thinking, why did you have to do that? Like, that wasn't really necessary. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, you guys love Faith. There's a lot of Faith talk. The Faith. Faith only broke out of prison when she heard the only person who cares about her needed help. Faith is pretty awesome. I gotta give it up to Eliza Dushku. Yes. They've played her as much as she's played them. Do you guys think that they've played her? I mean, you know, she's signed up for it. I mean, that's like one of the weird things. It's like the one woman from Terrifier, from the first Terrifier, that, you know, is going after the production. And granted, I don't know like all the details, just what was in like her report, but it was all the stuff she said she didn't sign up for, yet she ended up like doing, like, you know, willingly participating in, even though in her contract apparently it said that she wouldn't do those things. So my whole thing is, why did you do those things if you didn't have to contractually, you know? So even though Resurrection sucks and it's a shitty way to like deal with her character at that point in the timeline, she agreed to come back, you know. So I don't know. Let's see what else we got going on here. He's being funny. Just laugh. I am being funny. Damn it. That's what I'm wondering too. Is she trying to sort of make it seem like I don't really want to take part in this whole thing. So if you're mad at this whole thing, like, don't blame me. Even though my name, I double checked too before talking about it. She was an executive producer on every single one. So I'm like, she was there for decision making and to fund it and to make money from it as well. So tons of Buffy. Okay, well, I guess you guys just want to talk about Buffy. I'm so sick of Laurie Strode. Same. It would be nice to have a Halloween movie without anything to do with Laurie. Give us new characters to encounter the boogeyman. Yeah, I hope that whenever they're ready to bring it back, like, we don't need Laurie anymore, you know? We do not need it. Let's see here. Thank you, Jamie. I'm getting close to being... I was pretty unhinged over my microphone not working. It always, you know, sets everything off in a weird way. Let's see here. Davey, what the hell? We will now force you to rewatch Buffy. Well, I mean, I've seen, like, what is it, 7 or 8 seasons? I've probably seen, you know, I know I've seen the whole thing once all the way through, and then maybe through season 4 or 5, something like that. Let's see. Yes, thank you, Jamie. Hit that like button, guys. Okay, let's, since you guys just can't stop talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, let's get into it. Ryan Michael dropping another super chat, $4.99, says, happy St. Patty's Day, everyone. Hit that clover, but remember to hit the like button as well. Yes, y'all. Thank you so much, Ryan. Appreciate you. Holy cow, we're 4/10 of the way there. What happened? Where did the other super chats come from? What's happening? Jigsaw dropping it too. Thank you. Jiggy says they got the mustard stain out. Is that from Buffy? And I'm just not remembering that it's from the musical episode. Sean G dropping a Canadian 2-bucker, doesn't even have anything to say, just wants to support the channel. Thank you so much, Sean. Really do appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip of this energy drink that I don't need, and then we're gonna talk Buffy the Vampire Slayer. All right, let's see here. Boom. Boomity boom. There we go. Make sure it's all looking good. Oh, yeah. Want to do that. Okay. Wait a minute. What the heck was that? Okay. Sorry, I thought I saw something. I was hallucinating, everybody. Let's see here. All right. Okay, guys. Well... Ugh, that's a terrible lead into anything right there. I didn't even know what I was going to say. All right. All right, guys. So we just got news just yesterday, I believe, about this Buffy the Vampire Slayer new Sunnydale show being axed before the pilots even aired or anything like that. I've heard, you know, reasoning as far as there was an executive that never really liked the show, didn't have his heart in it, or whatever. I've also heard that the pilot was pretty underwhelming, and that even though they had a rewrite of the script that was a bit punchier, that they never got to film that script. So it sounds like the one that they put to camera was ultimately just kind of lackluster. So we're going to take a look at this article from Bloody Disgusting. This comes to us by way of John Squires. And we're also going to take a look at the screenplay, well, the supposed screenplay for the pilot, just a little bit of it to give you an idea of how it starts, because it doesn't seem like it's really got like the, you know, quick, quippy sort of dialogue and or anything that we would really expect from the show. So I'm curious to see what you guys have to say, but let's jump into this article here with a headline that reads, Sarah Michelle Gellar reveals what really happened with Hulu's Buffy new Sunnydale reboot. And the article says, so what really happened with the planned Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot over at Hulu? It was Sarah Michelle Gellar who had originally announced over the weekend that the streamer is not moving forward with the reboot series, subtitled New Sunnydale, which was to star Sarah Michelle Gellar and be directed by Hamnet filmmaker Chloe Zhao. Quote, I am really sad to have to share this, but I wanted you all to hear it from me. Unfortunately, Hulu has decided not to move forward with Buffy New Sunnydale, the actress said in a video. She added, I want to thank Chloe Zhao because I never thought I would find myself back in Buffy's stylish yet affordable boots. And thanks to Chloe, I was reminded how much I love her and how much she means not only to me, but to all of you. Chloe Zhao later Chloe Zhao later shared her own thoughts on Hulu axing the planned oh my gosh. Chloe Zhao later shared her own thoughts on Hulu axing the planned Buffy new Sunnydale series in a chat with Variety on the Academy Awards red carpet over the weekend. Quote, not surprised. Oh my gosh. Quote, not surprised, Chloe Zhao responded when asked about the news. I had an incredible time with Sarah, with all the cast and crew doing this, and we, first and foremost, see ourselves as the guardians of the original show. Our priority for Sarah and for us has always been to be truthful to the show, to be truthful to our fans. So things happen for a reason, and we keep our hearts open, and we welcome the mystery and what this might lead us to. So when they are trying to get into the why of it all, I'm just going to jump to a quote here from Sarah Michelle Gellar, from an interview that she did with People, where she says, quote, no one saw this coming, including the head of Searchlight Pictures. And I got the call as we were stepping onto the stage for the premiere of their own movie, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. And it's also the weekend of Chloe going to the Oscars as a Best Director nominee for Hamnet. For them to call us on the Friday of what should have been Chloe's victory lap for an incredible film and my world premiere of something that I worked very hard for that says something. And she continued, quote, we had an executive on our show who is not only not a fan of the original, but was proud to constantly remind us that he had never seen the entirety of the series and how it wasn't for him. That's very hard when you're talking about a property that is as beloved as Buffy, not just to the world, but to me and Chloe. So that tells you the uphill battle that we have been fighting since day one, when our executive is literally proud to tell you that he didn't watch it. Okay, so let's take a step back and have a little chat about all of that, because man, that's a lot. And yeah, what I don't understand about how this all went down is that they've been talking about it, that it's just like ready to go. And then all of a sudden it's like super cold feet on releasing it and completely taking it off the table. So I think that's really strange when they shoot a pilot. You know, pilots get shot and shows don't get picked up all the time. What I'm surprised with, though, is that, you know, this is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot, bringing back, you know, the legacy actress from the television show that, you know, is the reason why most people know about this character, even though it's not the first iteration. So it's strange to me that they didn't take their time to really figure it out. And before they went to camera, you know, have something that they would be, not only that they would be proud of, but something that, you know, we wouldn't find out later on that really wasn't quite up to snuff, because we've been seeing reports of, you know, rewrites on that pilot script, and that the rewrites made everything work out a lot better and worked Buffy into the episode a lot more. But ultimately it was too expensive it would have been too expensive to go back and shoot that version of the pilot. So here we are, we've got a dead pilot for a show that a lot of people were anticipating. But let's take a look, just for our curiosity. I'm going to jump on over to the screenplay, the script for this pilot. So this is written by Nora Zuckerman and Leela Zuckerman. Hopefully I'm pronouncing Leela or Lila, her name, correctly. So yeah, guys, we get basically an intro here. I don't know if you want me to read through the whole thing. Should I read through the whole thing? That would just be wild. Let me know in the chat if you want me to read through the whole thing. I'm actually gonna jump on over and just stare at the chat and see. Do you guys want me to actually read the script as if it's an actual thing? Like do voices and everything? You let me know. Tia, I don't know who these writers are either. And I think we're gonna experience, like, it's not that you have to have Joss Whedon come back, but there's just a very specific flavor. It's kind of like Kevin Williamson. There's like a very specific flavor to how they write their characters, and you kind of need to match that perfectly, you know? Okay. One man show. Lizzie wants it. Okay. All right, here we go. Act 1. Interior Sunnydale High School, night. Ominous shots of a deserted high school hallway. This looks familiar, and retro signage confirms it. We're at the original Sunnydale High, which is odd. Didn't it burn down? A girl moves through the shadows. Her sexy school uniform skirt swishes as she walks. She eases a wooden stake down from her coat sleeve, grips it with deadly purpose. Are we playing hard to get? Don't make a girl beg for it. A full-length locker opens behind her. The girl stops, steps into a shaft of light. It's not Buffy. This is Stacy. Another day, another sleigh. Stacy spins towards the locker just as a vampire drops from the ceiling. Caught off guard, her stake clatters to the ground. She backs up, stake at her feet. She hooks it into the air with a toe, catches it, and stabs the vampire. Ow! Security! She freaking stabbed me! Lights womp on. It's a haunted house maze meant to look like Sunnydale High. False walls conceal backstage areas where costume vamps are ready to burst from the shadows. Security guards race in. Hey, no hard weapons in the maze. It's just plastic. Plastic is hard. A manager in an old-timey Dracula costume marches up. We have a zero-tolerance policy. I'm revoking your pass. But it's only preview night. And I won't be responsible for another LARPing lawsuit. Not again. She gives up her festival lanyard with a glare at her waiting boyfriend, Chris, in a leather-strapped Blade costume. What? I told you not to do it. Exterior, Old Sunnydale Square, Vampire Weekend night. Stacy and Chris are shuttled by security through Vampire Weekend 2025, a counterculture event a la Ren Fair, full of horror fans, tourists, and goths. They're cosplaying and cosplaying and miles of there's cosplaying and cosplaying and miles of vampire merch. They move past Edwards and Bella's, an 80s perfect Lost Boys group, even some Slayers, but they're all overly sexy off versions of Slayers. You could have at least defended me. I don't want to take you away from your agency, babe. You hate it when I dim your light. That is so you trying to weaponize my feminism against me. I'm going home. Okay, well, I'm staying. It's only preview night. As Stacy womps through the exit, the security guard shakes his head with a sigh. Every year, every goddamn year, these nuts show up. This town. Exterior, New Sunnydale Estates golf course, night. Stacy cuts through a construction area, past signage about luxury homes, golf, and the picture-perfect community to come. She finds herself on a half-built golf course. So much for freaking allies. Her phone pings with a text. I'm sorry, I couldn't stay. Hashtag solidarity. Stacy smiles with a satisfied huff when her shoe's heel sinks into newly laid turf grass. Ugh, goddamn shortcut. As she reaches down to dislodge her shoe, a desiccated hand grabs her wrist. Another gnarled hand thrusts up from the earth and clutches her foot. Stacy falls into a sand trap with a scream. Behind her, a second wraith-like figure crawls from the sand. Its skin is dead and stretched like a corpse, with stringy hair and dirty clothes that might identify it as female. It skitters, lizard-quick, and pulls her under. Stacy claws the turf, screams as she sees the thing's vampire teeth. The creatures drag her beneath the sand. There's undulating, violent movement on the surface. Stillness. Then a booming pool of blood. Angle on Stacy's phone flashing with texts. Babe, you still mad? Come on, answer. Whatever. Sprinklers snap on and soak the sand. As the gruesome evidence washes away, go wide to a single for the sign coming development. Welcome to New Sunnydale. Titles up. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, New Sunnydale. Okay, so there you go. I read through that first scene. Yeah, there's some pretty cringy stuff in here. Didn't want to take you away from your agency, babe. That is so you trying to weaponize my feminism against me. And then her saying so much for freaking allies. I don't know. It's she like clearly broke the rules to this place, and I get it. Like they're kicking her out. It sucks or whatever. To me, I'm just sort of like, if we need an excuse to get her to be alone walking through this development and get attacked by a vampire, I think there's like a way that we could get her there without making her seem like a total shit. Like Buffy wasn't really a total shit. It just looked like that because no one believed her about all the supernatural things that went on in her life. But here, just the first kind of glance at this character is just very kind of cringeworthy and buzzword heavy, and just not very deep. But I don't know, guys. That's just one scene from this script. So I haven't read the entire pilot here. I can really only speak on what we get right there. I don't think that's a very strong introduction to our new, Slayer, although I get it. She doesn't need to be exactly like Buffy or anything. Maybe Buffy was going to set her straight. But if the opening scene is like an indication of what the relationship is going to be like with this Chris guy and the way that Buffy's going to talk throughout the entirety, then I get why, people weren't super pumped on it. So I'm going to jump back on over to you guys, see what you all are saying in the live chat here. Let's see what we got. All right, I'm going to scroll way up, y'all. Stacy the Vampire Slayer. That's right. She barfing. We got some barfing going on. Hopefully that's just the quality of what I was reading and not my overall performance. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out where we were. Okay, here we go. I just wanted to get back to where we were before I started diving into the to everything here. Hey, we got David hanging out. What's happening, bud? Welcome on in. Country Shape Media, I think I'd seen you earlier, but I didn't say hi, so I'm sorry. Hello. We got Julie Lynn in the house, one of our great channel members. What's happening, Julie? So good to see you. Okay, sorry guys, just kind of catching up with where we are. Sean G, thank you so very much for the $2 Canadian. It says 4 weeks, 20 papers. That's $2 plus tip. Boom, there we go. $2 plus tip. I want my $2. Tia Nina dropping a 2 says, thank you, Davey, for covering the Buffy news. Of course. I am not I like the idea of them bringing back Buffy in some sort of capacity. Unfortunately, it just sounds like this show wasn't going to be it. So even if we got it, sometimes I think it's a good thing when we don't get these, if that's really how they're feeling about it, because it could really kill a franchise, if you try to start a show and then it just epically failed, absolutely. Rest in peace to Michelle Trachtenberg. I really liked her in Adventures of Pete and Pete and stuff like that before Buffy too. And my favorite villain, I love Glory from Buffy. Glory's after Dawn. So those are good years for Davey rewatching. Okay, let's see what else I'm just waiting to see what you guys are saying about the Buffy show. Jamie says, I watched Buffy when it aired. I loved it, but not like Twin Peaks. I remember everything about Twin Peaks. Can't remember much about Buffy. There's so much in Buffy to remember. I mean, 24 episode seasons, and there's 7 or 8 of them. It's crazy. T. Parker Evans is in the house. What's happening, T? Happy St. Paddy's Day to you, man. Welcome on in. It's a bit weird that Sarah Michelle Gellar said nobody saw this coming, and Chloe said she wasn't shocked. That's what I thought was weird too, is that she was she wasn't surprised. So they must have not had a good feeling about it, or at least Chloe didn't, or maybe somebody gave Chloe tipped her off a little bit. Buffy helped me to fill the Doctor Who shaped hole in my life in the 90s and early aughts. Love it. Let's see here. Oh, okay, so that's where we were. Okay, I was way behind. Read the script with the voices. You have the. I tried, and I'm just going off the cuff with the voices and everything. I'm so happy you enjoy it, Lizzie. It is too bad Joss Whedon turned out to be such a creep. Yeah, I mean, he knows how to write his characters really well. I always thought he was just okay at directing. Writing was his strongest suit. But yeah, it sounds like he's an absolute friggin' nightmare. Sexy school uniform skirt. I think, are 2 chicks, they're 2 sisters, or maybe they're married to each other. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know what they've written before, so that ignorance falls on me. Sometimes with these shows and even with stuff like Star Wars, they brought in people that have no experience, and then other times they bring in people that do. So it is really tough. Like, I don't know. I think the dialogue's pretty cringy here. I'm very interested to know what you guys think about the dialogue. $2 from Ryan Michael. Thank you for the reading, Davey. Of course, you got it. You got it, Blade the Vampire Slayer. Anyone but Buffy. So one thing I've heard about this screenplay too, guys, is that Buffy changed her name, is working in a high rise as some sort of like corporate executive or something like that, and like doesn't. I mean, it makes sense that she would have moved on from being the Slayer. I always thought that Slayers like pass away and that's how their power gets transferred, but I don't know. Maybe there's some other way that they could have explained that. You know, so it's like this whole pulling them out of retirement kind of trope that we've seen, and we've especially seen it with, I mean, even stuff like Star Wars, you know, we've seen it kind of recently. Indiana Jones, like, let's bring in the old timer, but let's kind of ruin what the character was before for no reason. Like, let's deconstruct this character. Like, let's, for no reason other than just to deconstruct it, let's act like this character was like never really that good or never really that important or whatever, like the opposite of what everyone thought they were. That's like the first idea on everyone's head. So that's just like, I haven't read the entire pilot screenplay or whatever. I've been reading about it, and then I've just read, you know, what, the first couple pages here. So yeah, Blade the Vampire Slayer. That's right. We could have probably written it better, right? Cosplaying and cosplaying. I actually think the best parts of the script are the direction. Like, that's the best part of this pilot script. All of the dialogue is where I think they're really messing up here. Let's see. Thank you, Zach. Yeah, I'm not sure about it either. Let me just go back into a couple of the lines that so yeah, I mean, that's just, or, you know, you don't touch people when you're in a haunted house or whatever. And really, it's not big of a deal. It's just that she throws such a fit, and because she gets kicked out of the maze and her boyfriend didn't stand up for her, it turns into this whole, I don't even know. Now he's not an ally and that kind of talk. It just seems like, what? Wait, what just happened? Like, taking this a bit seriously, huh? When they're texting, I don't think so. It just seems really cringe. And it seems like this Chris character, he's living in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I've been in one of those. I was married to a person that, you know, puts people in those kinds of situations. It's not healthy. So if you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, with a person that you are romantically entangled with, I think it's time to get out. I think it's, you know, that's just Davey advice for free on St. Paddy's Day. Identify her as female. Oh yeah, with the vampire. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. I didn't even really think of it that way. I think they're just trying to be descriptive, but I get what you're saying. Dead and stretched like a corpse. Well, the people that wrote this are Ben and Leela Zuckerman. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, I actually, guys, I have a copy of Halloween Ends, the novel. I could read the novel. I could read the whole damn thing. Reading scripts and us commenting like Mystery Science Theater 3000. There we go. Yeah, those kinds of phrases, Tia, weaponize my feminism. So it really is damned if you do, damned if you don't, because he's basically saying, I didn't want to step on your toes. And she's like, nope, that was a time when it would be okay. But clearly he's, you know, gotten in trouble for stepping on her toes previously, or else he wouldn't have said that. Anywho, it was pretty bad. It's pretty bad. The best part to me of that script is just her walking in the golf course and having her like ankle grabbed or whatever when she goes to like reach for her phone or whatever the heck happened. I think that's the best part right there. Yeah, there you go. Davey Deathray reads a phone book. Just wait till we get to the Jays. Wait till we get to the Johnsons and the Smiths. Yeah, pretty rough. Awful. Cringe. Script was cringe, but claps for Davey. Thank you so much. Of course, Julie. Yes. Hey, if you guys want more, we can read more of this terrible script and see how bad it gets. What did we read? Like 3.5 pages, something like that? Yeah, I don't even know. Oh my gosh, yes. I read a little bit of the next thing. Yeah, so there's a character named Nova. I'm guessing she's going to be Buffy's friend. And they basically just describe Willow. It's like a brainy introvert who lives in her head or in a book. She calms as she takes in long, practiced, controlled breaths. She reorients herself. Her room is a comfy mix of secondhand novels, thrifted decor, and a love of all things retro. Yeah, it's not exactly like Willow, but there's enough like big pieces there for me just to be like, oh, this is like supposed to be Willow. So are we even doing like different characters or not? I mean, at least Stacy is different than Buffy. I might not like it, but at least she's different. Yeah, rough start. I mean, you really got to grab people. Everything up to that first title card should be like can't miss material. You know, you should get like roped in pretty quick. Yeah, it's really, really weird. It's weird. I'm glad that you feel that way too, Jamie, because I didn't know, like, obviously I'm going to have a different perspective than like half of you out there. You know, although I will say this, it's interesting that when I see my analytics for demographics, it still is like, I think it's like 80-20 male versus female, but oh my gosh, whenever I'm in a live stream, I feel like there's a really strong, I feel like it's like a good 50-50 or even more for the ladies. So thank you ladies for hanging out. But yeah, I was just curious to know what everyone would kind of think of it. It just seems a little on the nose, right? I think that's like kind of what I'm getting at is why it seems so cringy. You know, it's like, so I feel like the basis of like the whole Buffy kind of universe is very like girl positive, you know, lady whatever you want to say it. Like, I don't know. Seems like that you don't really need to try hard in a property that is like rooted in all of that. You just need to kind of keep it going. Yeah, it seems a little too updated, something like that. I know I might be sort of like just like stream of consciousness wandering off here. But I am thinking. Let's see here. Seems like the writers couldn't get enough of that wonderful duff. Oh, yeah. Were they trying to make it meta like Scream? And I'm okay with it referencing, like I do like when Buffy references like real things, right? I think that's one of the strengths of that, that franchise or that universe. But it just seems a little too like up to date, a little too try hard, I think. Jigsaw dropping a $2 super chat says this is a stream and we all play our parts. There we go. Holy cow, guys, we have reached our super chat goal. It just happened just like that. And we got Erica jumping on in, one of our great Death Squad mods and YouTube channel member. Says, top of the evening to ya. Happy St. Paddy's Day, homies. Right back at you, Erica. I hope you've had a lovely St. Paddy's Day. I know it's so very late out where you are. Thank you for jumping in and hanging out. Really do appreciate you. All right. Stacy wasn't the new Slayer. Yeah. I wonder how bad it really is. And I want to see this thing now. Like, I know it might not be released for years, or there might be some like, backroom kind of way to get it, sort of like the Star Wars holiday special. But I really want to see this just to see like how it all played out and to either confirm, the concerns that the people over at Hulu had, or to watch it and say, actually, I think that would have been good. I don't know. You don't really know until you see it play out. Although the idea of Buffy, being just some like, suit wearing corporate executive or something. Kind of weird. Kind of weird, man. Better Off Dead's such a good movie. It really is. We could have been disappointed like all of the Star Wars fans. Yes. And some are this, you know, I mean, I'm a fan of Star Wars. I have plenty of fandoms all over the place. So, I mean, of course, my fandom with Star Wars is pretty much the original trilogy. The Force Awakens, I think, is pretty awesome. All the other movies are just sort of varying degrees of to me. Even Rogue One, which is like the movie I really didn't need from that franchise. Thanks for spending the money. Didn't need it. Already know how that story turns out. Thanks for nothing. I'm okay with Buffy not coming back, to be honest, says Carrie. They ended it very well and we don't need any more. Yeah, and they extended her, that story from the TV show got extended into comic books. So if you want an extension of her story, there's still another way to get it. You know, I think they did like seasons 8, 9, and 10 or 9, 10, and 11, something like that. They, for all I know, they could still be going with the Buffy comic. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of story there for sure. And, you know, kind of like to piggyback on what you're saying there, Carrie, if they couldn't do it in a way that really was fresh and like revitalized it and passed the baton, then yeah, absolutely no reason to do it. Sometimes you can do those things in a way that works out really well. Other times, not so much. Not so much. Oh, Pete and Pete, so good. So good, Zach. What's happening, bud? Hope you are doing well. Season 5, is that the one with Glory? Yeah, you know what? I never watched Harriet the Spy. I was very aware of it, but I never watched it. I don't know why. Really don't know why. Dude, Pete and Pete is so good. It's one of the funniest shows. It has that like Wes Anderson kind of sensibility, you know, to the humor. My sister was a huge fan, so I wasn't because that was her thing. It was influential in her coming out journey, says Christine. Oh, are you talking about Buffy? Yeah, I think I definitely had a little bit of that in high school because it was so popular. A lot of the things that were really popular when I was in high school, I just figured I don't have time for that like normie shit. You know, I had my band going on and other stuff. And so when I should have had Sarah Michelle Gellar's poster on my wall and been staring at it and thinking terrible things, I was playing guitar and, you know, doing terrible things with my, you know, high school girlfriends. There you go. So I didn't watch Buffy until, gosh, I was like in my early 30s, I think. Late 20s, early 30s. So there you go. I'm so far behind on the chat, Erica. We're a very lively bunch in here. And I might have even been reading still when you know, joined us. I'm not sure. Yeah. What a theme song too. Got to give it up to Polaris. Yeah. He did. It made it like uniquely his own, you know, say what you want about the person. You know, I really don't think he's a very nice guy. But he had a way of writing these characters that are uniquely, you know, it's his own voice, right? It is tough to duplicate for sure. Yeah. Pretty rough stuff. Let's see here. What else do we got? I'm just going to kind of catch up with you guys here. Yeah, man. I remember when Pete and Pete were just like bumpers that they would play. There was like a summer where they would just show little clips. It wasn't even like a full episode. You just got these little shorts. And then they were so successful that they got money to make full episodes. It's amazing. Rick B. Jammin dropping a $5 super chat. Doesn't even want to say anything. Just wants to say, Rick B. Jammin. Thank you very much, Rick. Really do appreciate you. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's two brothers both named Pete, so it is kind of a Pete and repeat joke just within their own family. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Talking Star Wars with a Canadian fiver. Doesn't even want to say something. Shannon is just dropping the 5. Thank you so much, Shannon. Really do appreciate you. And let's see here, guys. I think I've got another little something we can talk about here. We do. We've got a little Scream related thing we can talk about. You know, very, very light news, nothing heavy or anything like that. The dialogue was sus, says Julie, but I'm not super qualified to judge since I'm a rat who's only seen the pilot episode of the original show. And that's fine. Like, you've probably seen, I mean, I think the pilot of the original show has some pretty good personality. You know, it's a pretty solid pilot. I really do recommend the movie with Christy Swanson and Luke Perry in it. Donald Sutherland is in that one as well, Paul Rubens, and I think Rutger Hauer is in there also. I mean, really stacked, impressive cast. And I think the movie is really good. I know Joss didn't have much nice to say about it. I don't think he had much control. Like once he, I think he wrote the script. And then, I would imagine he was there for the shoot, but I don't think he had much say in what, if things changed, the day of when they're shooting. But I think the original movie's worth checking out. And Julie, I would say, like, if you're looking for a show to get into, I think Buffy's pretty solid. Other than the fact that she always needs to be dating somebody. That kind of drove me nuts. At least for a couple of the seasons there, they just would put her with the most like milquetoast boring ass characters. I'd just be like, get this guy out of here. Can we just kill this character off? What's the one guy? Riley? Is that the guy, the military guy? You have to let me know in the chat, everyone. When she's in college and she dates Riley, he really is like David Boreanaz, but like not as handsome and about half of the personality. And I don't think David Boreanaz has that much personality, as a performer. Anyway, yeah, dialogue was sus, Julie. And you can judge, judge all you want, whatever. We're just giving our opinions. Horror Becomes Her, dropping a $5 super chat, says April 1st, coming soon. Recommend April Fool's Day from 1986. One of my favorite movies. Would love to run a B&B like that or go to one. Oh, so you want to do like a murder mystery Airbnb or just B&B kind of thing. Yeah, that would be fun. I actually just watched April Fool's Day I think it was last week. Was it last week? I think it was last week. Yeah, Tom Wilson and right? It's Tom Wilson from Back to the Future, all the Back to the Future movies. And then of course Amy Steele is in there as well. Those are the two that I recognized. I thought April Fool's Day was pretty fun. I've always known, I won't say anything about no spoilers or anything. I'll speak as vaguely as I can. I knew how everything shook out just from watching other videos. So like there was no element of surprise for me other than to just like see how the movie all played out and the production value and everything like that. And I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's going to be one that I revisit all the time, but it is the perfect movie to watch right around April Fool's Day. And I watched it early because I wanted to be able to talk about it, maybe even do a watch party or something. And I had never seen it before. So I just checked it off the list. So there you go. There you go. Thank you so much for the $5. Really do appreciate you. And oh my gosh, somebody mentioned a movie and I can say I've actually seen it. That's incredible. I've watched almost 2,100 movies in my life, but you would just be blown away to find out how many times people mention a movie in the chat and I have not seen it. That's how crazy things get, people. That's how crazy it gets. A watch party could be interesting. For which one now? What are we talking about? Are we talking there must have been some movie I had just mentioned. I am so bad, guys. If you're referencing something that I have previously said in the chat, if you could actually put it in your chat, because it will just go right out of my brain. I say it and then poof, it's gone. Or you know what it really is, Sean, is I'm 15 minutes behind on the chat. So I like, by the time I get to your chat, I'm like, oh crap, what was I talking about? Yeah, there you go. Halloween Ends. Boom. Boom. Yeah. If I have to watch any Star Wars, you must watch Buffy. Yeah, Carrie, I mean, you should watch the Star Wars stuff, at least the movies anyways, right? I think the movies, that's fair homework for Star Wars. Yeah. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and... Oh, Nova's the Slayer and Stacy isn't? Ah, gotcha. Okay. So they are switching things up, Linda. Thank you so much for clearing that up. I had no idea. Holy cow, 31 people kicking it with us. Guys, if you're hanging out, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff. We covered some Jamie Lee Curtis stuff, and we covered some Buffy stuff. So if you're just jumping in, you can scrub on back. Let's talk a little Scream very quickly, guys. And this is going to be pretty light Scream news. This is nothing heavy. So Keep all the heavy shit out of the chat. No, I'm just joking. Let's see. Let me do this. Let me do that. There we go. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this, because I think this is kind of interesting. We'll see. So this is, wait, here, I'm going to get into this. There we go. Just taking a breath, and then we'll start it up. So guys, originally there were some different plans for Jill Roberts and, you know, how she would continue with the Scream storyline. And we just got something from Kevin Williamson talking about Scream 7 and wanting Jill to take part in that. And I just thought it was worth talking about because I have seen it pop up, and rightfully so. You know, when people are talking about this previous movie and, you know, knowing what we know about all that use of AI and you know, previous ghost faces with those cameos and everything like that, a lot of people were like, where the hell was Jill? Like, that would have hit way harder because that's, you know, Sydney's niece and, you know, a situation that was like extremely close to her in about every conceivable way. Where was she? And it was sort of like, I mean, I've seen it been reflected on as kind of like, oh, this is like a mistake that they didn't get her back, you know, almost like it was an oversight or something like that. But, you know, we now have some confirmation that that wasn't the case. Kevin Williamson did try to get Jill back in, or, you know, Emma Roberts tried to bring her back. So let's go ahead and check out this article over here by John Squires over at Bloody Disgusting with a headline that reads, Kevin Williamson tried to get Emma Roberts to cameo in Scream 7 as Scream 4 killer. And there's that, you know, Vaseline looking image of Emma Roberts as Jill Roberts. And the article says, it's no secret that Kevin Williamson is a big fan of Wes Craven's Scream 4, which he wrote. So much so that his original hope was to use the franchise's fourth installment and its new mythology as the springboard for a brand new trilogy of Scream movies back in 2011. Williamson recalled in a recent chat with Cinepop, quote, Scream 4 was about Emma Roberts and her character Jill. In my original conceit, Jill survived and went to college. And in college, she got away with it all. And she was now the new Sydney, the new celebrity victim. And she was loving it. And someone figured her out and started killing all the people in her life. In order for her to not be exposed as the killer, she had to find the killer. And that was Scream 5, end quote. Of course, Jill ended up being killed off in Wes Craven's Scream 4, and the character hasn't appeared in the franchise since. But Kevin Williamson reveals in a new chat with Happy Horror Time that he tried to get Emma Roberts back for a cameo in Scream 7. And guys, this Happy Horror Time, they seem to be like a newer channel on YouTube, at least for the time being, you know, relatively small-ish, but what a get with them bringing in Kevin Williamson for an interview. So hats off to the guys over at Happy Horror Time. Oh my gosh, how did you get that interview? Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the quote here. So Williamson tells Happy Horror Time, since it was Sydney related, I felt like 1 through 4 needed to be represented. I desperately wanted Emma Roberts because that movie's not represented and I wanted her so badly. And I asked her like 3 times, but the schedule or something didn't work. It just didn't work out for her. She couldn't make it. And right below that, guys, it says Williamson reveals that he also tried to get Timothy Olyphant back to cameo as Scream 2 killer Mickey Altieri. And he notes that I think we reached out to him, but he couldn't do it. So, you know, just like I said, a little bit of light news here on the Scream front. I'm going to bring it back on over here. So I knew there was something about Jill continuing on, and that was like the original idea. I think that would have been really cool if they went that route. That would have been pretty interesting and different, all that kind of stuff. I do think like what we got here as far as, you know, what Kevin's saying about Scream 7 and trying to get her back, maybe she really wasn't interested and was just trying to do the nice way of saying no thanks, but no thanks kind of thing. You never know in the, you know, showbiz and all that kind of stuff. But you know, this just confirms that it wasn't an oversight or anything like that. I figured the reason why she didn't come back was because of scheduling or because of money. My mind always goes to the practical reasons why and not the, you know, creative reasons why. I don't think Emma Roberts would be like no, I don't like your script, you know, if they even got to that stage. You know, I think it really is just money, time, schedule, you know, all the stuff that usually makes or breaks a deal ultimately. So yeah, little light Scream news for all of us, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. Gosh, maybe we could get like an Elseworlds comic book that tells the Jill Roberts story, you know, like we don't need that not everything needs to be represented in film. It would be kind of fun to see that idea come to life in a totally different way. I wonder if Kevin still has all that, you know, that would be just a really cool thing to explore for the fans. But anyways, I'm going to jump on over and see what you guys are saying about this in the live chat. So let me hop on over. The Porgs in Star Wars are adorbs too. You know, I didn't hate the Porgs. I wish they had like something to do. They have nothing to do, really. Do they do anything other than tempt Chewbacca to eat them? I don't know. I just don't know. Let's see here. What do we got? Yeah. Ugh. Riley's like a hamburger, dry bun, no cheese, just ugh. You know, just ugh. New trailer for Stranger Things Tales from 85. All right. I was curious. I like the art style for that show, Paula. I'm like, what happened in 1985 that was so not worth talking about for the whole remaining, you know, seasons of that show? What happened? What happened? Let's see here. Angelus was the best big bad by far. David Boreanaz had so much charisma when he was a villain. Yeah, I think he fits that role really well. I'm so mean to David Boreanaz. I just don't think he's that good of an actor. But I think he plays Dark Angel better than any version. You're right. Yeah, that's where he's at his best for sure. I'd watched April Fool's Day when it came out, and I was 10 then, so it really stuck with me. Yeah, it was super fun. You know, it's not very bloody, and I get why. You know, and even back then, yeah, movies did have cutaway kills and everything like that. But yeah, I enjoyed April Fool's Day. It was fun. It was fun. I don't think it meets your criteria, Erica. I think it's too old. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen. So, like, what did I just add to I've got like Near Dark on my watch list. I added Sean G had mentioned, what were the two that The Sure Thing I just put on there. Seems Like Old Times with Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase. I just put that on my watch list. There's a lot of movies. So, guy, how about this? I'll tell you guys, since we reached our super chat goal and we got, 50 minutes or whatever, I'm just going to kick back. We're just going to have like kickback hangout time. Is that okay? Is kickback hangout time good for you guys? So recently, I just watched Psycho 2 last night for the very first time. And I'm probably going to watch Psycho 3 tonight after the stream. So I just want to catch up on that franchise. I've seen the original 2 or 3 times, something like that. I really enjoyed Psycho 2. It's got a really good look to it. Dean Cundey is the director of photography, did a great job. I mean, I don't expect anything less than excellence from Dean as far as camera placement, movement, lighting, all that stuff goes. In fact, Dean Cundey's work on Psycho 2, even though it's a movie from 1983, it reminds me so much of Jaws and Jaws 2 with the look and even the sound. Like the Jerry Goldsmith score has, kind of, there's foreboding, like darker, haunting kind of melodies and everything, but there is that sort of whimsical John Williams kind of feel in there as well. And I think Goldsmith is just so good in his own right. Like the guy, scored so many movies, so many classic movies. We're talking like stuff like Alien and all that. So I'm definitely not trying to denigrate his work at all. In fact, I just think that that's seemingly what he was kind of going for, because I thought the score was excellent with Psycho 2. Anthony Perkins was really good, of course. I think I prefer the sequel to the original. When it comes to Hitchcock's films, my favorite are, I would say, Vertigo is my favorite. I really like Rope quite a bit, and I really like Rear Window. Psycho might be my fourth favorite. I don't know. So yeah, really like Psycho 2 quite a bit. And what the hell else have I seen? I saw Undertone, and I still haven't posted any video about Undertone. I don't need to talk about that right now if you guys don't want me to, though. But Undertone, yeah, could have been better. I'll just say that. Could have been better. Let me see what else I've seen recently. Rush Week. I think I talked about that one already. Oof. How about Rough Week is what it should have been called. That was rough. Yeah, so I planning on watching at least one tonight that I haven't seen before. So yeah, Psycho 3, maybe close out the Psycho franchise tonight. I don't know. What would you guys think if Oz Perkins took over the Psycho franchise or rebooted Psycho? You know, the connection with his dad, not only having played Norman Bates, but also, you know, I believe he directed the third movie for sure. He might have directed the fourth one as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, what would you guys think? We take that off there, and we're just chilling. We're just straight chilling here. Love Jill's crazy ass. Wouldn't mind having her back. Yeah, I'd love to see it in a just finishing a non-alcoholic beer. There you go, guys. It's St. Paddy's Day. I had to know. I had to enjoy a beer. Yeah, I'd love to have her back. They should just do a comic. Bring her back in a comic or an animated something. We got Aaron Click hanging out. What's happening, Aaron? Great to see you, bud. Yeah, not good at all. And I think the new transfer, they're going to clean up some of that. Something like that. Carrie, thank you so much for kicking it with us. I hope you have a great rest of your evening and that you feel better soon. Bubba Voorhees says, would have made more sense if Billy was brought back for AI over Stu, not going to lie. Yeah, and I think they didn't go that way because they just already had with Billy the last two movies. They pretty much did that. So I think it was just to change it up and to give some of the Stu heads, you know, just something to chew on for a little bit. Let's see here. What else do we got going on? I think not having Rose as Tatum was a missed opportunity. Imagine Sydney seeing her best friend saying how she couldn't save her and won't be able to save her Tatum. Yeah. But they didn't. Oh, I guess they did go that way with a weirdo David Arquette and his Hitler hair. They did do that. Yeah, they should have brought in Rose. I don't know if she's really performing or anything anymore. You know, like just with everything the Weinsteins put her through, I don't even know. Is she still acting? But yeah, I mean, as far as the story goes, like there was a good reason to put her in there for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would have made sense, but they already did this stupid, outlandish thing by giving Billy a secret love child in Scream 5 and 6. So because they did that by already bringing in Billy, like they weren't going to bring him back a third time. But yeah, it makes more sense for him to taunt Sydney and to not have a, you know, soap opera love child kind of thing. It's the Billy love child is more plausible and probable, but it's just as silly and ridiculous as Stu still being alive, pretty much, I would say. That's just my opinion, though. You know, what can you do? She did say recently she was interested in coming back if they wanted to, so it just must have really not worked with her schedule. You know, what can you do? Antonis dropping a $4.99 super chat says, Davey, I've read more news on Friday the 13th on Bloody Disgusting the other day. Did you see it? I'm not talking about the Crystal Lake TV show. If it's something that Sean Cunningham said about them making a movie, I don't really trust information coming from Sean Cunningham. That's right. I don't. And the reason why I don't is because from everything I have gathered and everything I have seen, it seems like Sean is one of the reasons why the rights were held up in such a mess for such a long time. He totally kind of says things offhand that, you know, may or may not be true. like he's talking about them putting together like an old school version of the movie, something that's going to feel old school. And yeah, I mean, that's not like news. If that's what you're talking about, Antonis, I don't know. You'll have to let me know. But yeah, I did see that Sean came out and said something. But the Jason universe and Barsamians already said that at like in the summer, right? They're like, we're working on a video game, we're working on a movie, and whatever else they had mentioned, right? So that's what he's talking about. So yeah, there's no title, there's no director. As far as we know, there's no one working on a script. If somebody's working on a script, they have not been named. We don't know who would produce it other than, you know, the Barsamians and the Jason universe. So there's all this information that, you know, it's just Sean reminding everyone basically, hey, we're working on a movie too, if that's what you're talking about. Thank you so much for the $4.99er, Antonis. Appreciate you. Let's see what else we got going on. I'd be giddy as hell for her to come back. Even if we had a backstory via comic, I would have read the shit out of that. Yeah, I mean, they kill her, right? I mean, like, she's dead. Can't bring her back. I mean, it's the same thing as bringing Stu back. So it's a bummer that Jill doesn't make it out of Scream 4, because a lot of the things that, you know, fans in general say that they want from Scream could have been accomplished, right? It's a different kind of cliffhanger ending, you know, like Ghostface does get away, and then to sort of flip the script and have Jill, yeah, she's an evil psychopath and everything, but then to have somebody just as crazy or even crazier than her come after her, like that could have been really interesting. So it's kind of a bummer that we didn't get that, because Scream is still, you know, very formulaic, even though, you know, 5, 6, and 7, with everything they tried to do just to be a little bit different, it still feels pretty close to the same formula, you know, switching out a couple little things, but nothing major. And keeping Jill around would have been, you know, a pretty different kind of trajectory for the franchise. Tia, I think you must be the only one that liked Riley. Saw April Fool's Day in the theater. There you go. There it is, Jamie. All right. It's a kickback and catch up on chat. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh, man, so good. And I knew I've watched video essays on Psycho too, so it was good to actually take it all in. For a movie that's almost 2 hours long, it moved very quickly. Meg Tilly, right? Meg Tilly, Jennifer Tilly's sister. Oh my gosh. Cute as a button. Just one of the cutest, like, I literally just so adorable. Oh my gosh. Wild stuff. What a family. What a family. Yeah, it keeps it very, very interesting. You feel so bad for Norman Bates in that whole movie, you know? I can't remember that one exactly. Most of my Boreanaz deliveries that I remember are from the movie Valentine. God, that movie is rough stuff. Yeah, Vertigo's so good. I saw like the first 2 seasons. Yeah, kind of similar as you. It just seemed like it was dragging on. I was like, when is something going to happen? There's like one major thing that happens every season. I just got kind of bored of it. Yeah. Oh, it does. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that original score is classic score. Yeah, I would say this: if you have a really good sound system at home, just wait and watch it at home. I saw it in the Dolby Theater. I'm an A-list member, so it doesn't cost me like extra or anything. You know, I'm probably a lot nicer to movies because it's not costing me $15 every time or whatever. So yeah, I would say Undertone for me was totally worth watching in the Dolby Cinema. But you know, it was like an idea that could have been a short film, like a 40-minute movie, and still been as effective. And I'm not going to get into it. Like maybe down the road we can have like a nerdy talk about it once a lot of people have seen it and all that kind of stuff. If anyone wants to talk about it, I guess we'll see what the lasting effect of Undertone is. But there are some things with the story where I was just like, I don't understand how these things connect. I don't know why this thing is happening when it seems like this other thing should be happening. And then, like a lot of movies, Tia, I have a tough time relating with or liking the characters because the things that they do don't make me like them. And I get it. Not every character needs to be likable. But this movie has two characters that you see on screen. Everyone else, it's just a voice. And I would have liked to have like really cared about our protagonist. But unfortunately, I did not. So there we go. Yeah, underwhelming. Underwhelm. Yep. Going to see Undertone for the first time tomorrow night. I hope you dig it. I hope you dig it, Aaron. I mean, it had me on the edge of my seat. You know, it did have me on the edge of my seat, but I wanted more. I wanted more. Oz could definitely do Psycho justice. It would be such a wild, like, full circle kind of moment, you know? Be very interesting to see like what they would do with it first off. And I think even I think Oz played Norman either in Psycho 3 or maybe it was in 4. He plays like a younger version of Norman. I guess I'll find out. If it's Psycho 3, I'll find out tonight. I mean, that makes sense because his dad directed that one. So yeah, it would just be such a cool full circle thing, you know? And even it would be even more wild if he played Norman because he acts as well. Gorehound Gazette says, I just got back from watching Undertone. The first few paragraphs of my review practically wrote themselves. Ugh. Oh no. First few. See, and yeah, I wonder if we have kind of similar things. You know, no, I don't want to get in anything too spoilery because I know it's a smaller picture and people are still waiting to see it and everything. So I'm not going to say anything that would spoil anything, but something that we could definitely talk about sometime down the road. Yeah. Zach says, I hate long legs and just as equally hate the monkey. So I guess you could say I'm not a fan. I loved long legs. I thought the monkey was just like fine. It's like fine for what it is, but nothing that I need to revisit or anything like that. But I do think Long Legs is a beautiful film. Like I love the way it looks. Like I dig his style, but I get it. Like it's like anything else, right? Like I'm a big punk rock fan, but then even me and my friends that love punk rock, it's not every band. Don't feel the same way about every group, right? So I think that's totally fair, man. If his style doesn't resonate with you, then it doesn't resonate with you. Sometimes I feel bad, like the stuff that I don't like, I'm like, what am I missing that's preventing me from liking it? And it kind of gets me mad at me. Like stuff like Radio Silence that I think they're fine, like they're good. They're just, I'm not like gung-ho. Like I don't watch something like Abigail and want to like get out of my seat and like laugh and cheer and stuff. Like I like it, but it doesn't like get my blood pumping the way, other franchises might or other creators might. I don't know. It's just, art is kind of a feel thing. It's one of the only things in this world where you can say, I feel this way, and saying that you feel is actually valid. And the cool thing about art is you still can have an intellectual discussion about it, but also it can just invoke a feeling. And that's probably the only time where, other than, I think feelings matter as far as like going with your gut, stuff like that. But it's one of the only times where it's like, you can really say, the feel doesn't match with me or doesn't resonate, And I would imagine that he would want that as well. And then there might even be stuff that he knows about, maybe there's some backstory there that would extra make him not want to be involved. I don't know. I would imagine his dad probably had a good working relationship with that franchise because he stuck around, for so long and ended up directing one of the movies. But maybe there is some sort of weird kind of bad blood or something that Oz and his family would know that we wouldn't know that would want to keep him from it. And I also totally understand and encourage modern filmmakers, and especially people that are as talented as Oz, you know, do your own thing. He's been doing his own thing and it's been going really well for him. So I would hate to, you know, tie him down to something unless it were, you know, unless he shared that passion, right? I like it. I like it, the money too, Erica. I like it, the money. No, I get it. I get what you're saying, Erica. I get it. Oh my gosh. Wow. You were a youngster. You were a kid, right? What were you? When were you, Jamie? Are you a 72 baby? Is that right? I don't know why. I don't know why that's what I'm thinking. I'd like to see a more edgy director do Psycho like Ari Aster or Jordan Peele, says Rob Dean. What's happening, Rob? Yeah, totally. I mean, really, like at this point, if you're going to bring something, I usually want to go for somebody that's like up and coming. So the bigger names that we know can do their own things. But if you're going to bring Psycho back, it makes sense that you'd want to bring somebody that's like a heavy hitter. And you definitely want to go that artsy, you know, the Jordan Peele, Ari Aster, A24, Neon, like, you know, just somewhere in there in that wheelhouse for sure. I'm trying to think of it. Who is the director who did Heretic? Because I just, you know, first off, I think the direction was great because the performances were awesome. That's the number one job. I think the movie looked really good, like the production value and the set design and everything. So it's like, I can't think of the filmmaker's name off the top of my head, but like, I want to see more from like those writers and that director, and all that kind of fun stuff. And if Damian McCarthy ever wants to not write his own movie and do something based off somebody else's work, I'm down for that too, because I really like the 2 films we've gotten from him so far, and I've heard that that Hokum's a lot of fun as well. So I'm looking forward to that one. Undertone was a tough watch for me. Some of the grief themes. Gotcha. Yeah. You know, it definitely like makes you feel certain things. Like there are certain things that Undertone does that are just visceral in nature. And yeah, it's got its things that it does well. Let's see what else we got. We got Maxwell King Horror hanging out. What's happening? Maxwell says, from worst to best, what would you rank the Scream franchise? Worst to best. 6, 5, 3, 7, 2, 4, 1. There you are. And there it is. I had to close my eyes because I have to visualize it. So if I look like a creep, it's because I had to visualize it, because I'm really bad at I'm better at writing things down than just naming things off, and I have to see it in my head. It's very, very strange. I don't like that Victor was the one getting the blame when it was Sean's fault for the rights issues and game development stopping since he appealed after he lost the suit. Yeah, I mean, they both share a certain amount of blame, but I do think Sean is being a bigger problem. Yeah. I think it's weird that Victor like brought in his lawyer and gave his lawyer some of the rights too. I mean, I guess that's like one way of paying the guy, you know, bringing him in as like turning him into a producer, a rights holder, which is a strange move, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I just think the way Sean's been going about it, I can't tell if his feelings are hurt that, you know, he's not as involved as he used to be. I don't know what's going on. It just seems like he's being a massive roadblock. Yeah. Let's see what else we got going on here. I was really into the Cult of Stew idea. Same. That was one of the theories I like too. I think that idea is very much still alive. Yeah, and I think it's very much on the table. Not only do I think it's on the table, I think that if you take a step back and look at Scream 7, I think you can, I mean, obviously with what Marco says, right? He says that Stu's spirit is still alive. So he's influenced by that. He wasn't just convinced by Jessica to do this. There was already something sick in him, right? You wouldn't just be convinced to do all of that, to like throw everything away. So there was something about, it was like them meeting was just the right formula for a bunch of terrible shit to happen. We see it like, I don't know if you ever watch like interrogation videos or anything like that, but this happens in real life where couples, romantically entangled couples, or people that have just led bad lives independently find each other and do bad shit together. So I think you can kind of take a step back and say, okay, so Marco's got this kind of Stu worship thing going on, right? Brought him back with the AI, keeping him alive, wanting to make Sydney question it all. And we don't know much about Carl. I guess we can assume that Carl was maybe influenced and inspired by Stu as well. I mean, he was a killer before being captured and put in the hospital, right? That's where he and Marco meet. So maybe he and Marco, and I know I'm doing the work for them, like they didn't put this into the movie. I'm saying that if we can make an argument that Stu could still technically be alive, which I think you absolutely can argue. I don't think it's true, but I think you can totally argue it with what they've shown us and what they've said behind the scenes and all that stuff. And I think that with that same logic, you can say that Marco and Carl are very much Stu cult of Stu members, inspired, influenced by him, want to keep it alive. They're copycats, and they're not copycats of Billy Loomis. The one that they resonate with, the one that they think of, the one that is like their guy is Stu. So I think we still have that idea. I think they could definitely do it like bigger and better, So I think I like the cult of Stu idea a lot more than I like just bringing him back just to bring him back, I used to watch Days of Our Lives with my mom when I was a kid. And then, you see other soap operas and stuff. And I know that to a degree, all of these slasher franchises, they get a bit soap opera-y, maybe even Scream a little bit more than others. But I grew up watching these ridiculous things where characters come back from the dead and it's like a different actor that plays them. And then the actor that originally played them wants to come back to the show. So they're like, oh, no, wait. He wasn't really that person. He was this other person that had amnesia, but that other person is back. Like they just do all sorts of weird stuff. And I know it's not the same to bring Stu back. It gives me flashbacks. Oh my God. Let's see what you guys are saying. I said we were going to be light on Scream, and hopefully I'm not pushing anyone away here. Davey, Olivia Hussey is in Psycho 4. I will not ever forget that because Olivia Hussey, you know what I mean? And no disrespect to her. Oh my God. Wowza, you get to see a lot of her, if you know what I mean. Why would that be? I thought you were going to say she's terrible in the movie, Aaron. I started sweating because I was like, oh no, Aaron's going to say she's awful in the movie. How is it disrespectful to say that you get to see a lot of her? She's a beautiful lady. And yes, rest her soul. And I don't think it's disrespectful. But gosh, I thought you were going to say she was really bad in the movie. She's in, what is it, Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard? That's like one of the weirdest. I'm like, you got to be kidding me that Olivia Hussey is in this movie. What? Like that she just seems like so proper and all that. And then like Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard. Crazy stuff. Oh yeah, dude, I saw it at a press screening and I sat there about halfway through. I was like, man, am I the biggest jerk in the world? Because everyone was loving it. And I walked out of the theater being like, Dan Stevens kind of bugs me. Like that was what I took away from the movie. I liked when they blew up. I love the blood explosion. Reminds me of Dead Alive. Stuff like that. Yeah, I'm excited for Ready or Not too. That's going to be this weekend. I'm going to go see that Hail Mary movie too, I think. Project Hail Mary, something like that. I've heard, you must have, said this before, Jamie, but I've heard from multiple people there's not a bad entry in the franchise. That all of them are totally worth watching and all of them are good. So there you go. I still need to see that, and I still need to see Blackcoat's Daughter. Yep, I know. I'm terrible. Here I am saying that I love the guy's work and I haven't seen all of his movies. It's terrible. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Hokum. Ooh, Obsession looks really good too. So yeah, I've been hearing, I've seen little blurbs about Hokum because it played at South by Southwest. So I've not watched any reviews or anything like that, but I've seen these, scrolling through Twitter or whatever, you see a little blurb from somebody. And it sounds like Hokum is, delivering. That's the big thing with horror, guys. We're all horror fans, and we of course we want to get excited about these new movies. Like, I would rather err on the side of getting excited for more than doing the whole like side-eyeing everything that comes out. Like, I don't want to be that guy that's like, doesn't look that, like, I'd rather be like, all right, this, like, I'm hopeful about this. Like the Faces of Death movie. I've never seen any of the Faces of Death movies. I know what they are. For most of my life, we believed that they were real because, guys, I think it was just like maybe 10 years ago, maybe not even that long ago, that it came out that all of that was fake. But when I was, other people can vouch for me in the chat, when you're growing up in the 80s and you hear about Faces of Death in the 80s or the 90s, it's, oh, these are like real actual deaths. And it seemed so taboo. And I think there's like 6 or 7 volumes. So I'm curious about how they're approaching this new movie. Like, it just seems like an interesting idea, like melding the is it real, isn't it real with like a serial killer trying to recreate. I don't know. There's just something interesting. And I want to think that this will be a movie that I can look back on and be like, oh, wow, that Faces of Death remake was actually cool. But, just because the marketing's good, just because it looks like it might be scary, you could sit there, plop down for an hour 30 to 2 hours, and it's got to play out, and it's got to make sense, and it's got to hit the beats at the right time for the audience and all that. Like, Undertone had a great marketing campaign, and I felt like it kind of under-delivered. And that's not the first time that's happened with horror movies. Like, I felt a little let down by Weapons. I know it did really well, but I thought it could have been way better in the third act, all that kind of stuff. Gosh, even what's one that I was really looking forward to that just sort of missed the mark for me completely. I'm trying to think if there's one that I went in and was just so disappointed in, but luckily there's nothing like that, so that I can think of within the last year or so. So yeah, Obsession, pumped. Hokum, very excited. And we'll see. We will see. 73. All right. Good to know. No, she's only 22. Ari Aster did Heretic? Really? Wait, no. Did he? I didn't know that. Is that for real? Oh, Scott Beck and Ari Woods. Okay. Yeah, they wrote and directed it. I'm just kind of going off what you guys are saying here. But whoever did that, like, I want to see them be more active, I do, Zach. I go to, so I don't travel for cons or anything like that. The channel is not nearly, successful enough to where I would be able to, do that and have it, be viable and everything. But I go to like Mad Monster out here in Arizona. I live in the Phoenix area. So I go to Mad Monster once a year. I've been to Days of the Dead out here, although they didn't come back last year. And then I've been to some smaller, little conventions as well. So, but Mad Monster, every year I make sure to make it out to that one. That is one of my favorites. And yeah, always a blast. I love going to cons. I went to H45. That was incredible. They're a blast, man. How about you, Zach? Do you go to horror cons? Let me know. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, Heretic's really good, guys. I watched it. It was like a year ago, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, how did Hugh Grant like not get more attention for this? I thought his performance was right up there with like, him and Demi Moore, because she was in The Substance that year in 2024, and then he was in Heretic in 2024. And I'm like, those performances seem like those people's careers had similar trajectories, kind of, big peaks and then sort of backed off a little bit and jumping into horror. First time they'd done that. And I felt like, what's his face's, like Hugh Grant's performance was like right there with Demi Moore's, but just not as much attention. But I loved Heretic. Coming from somebody that like grew up in I grew up in a Catholic household, but I used to go to like, non-denominational like youth group and stuff like that, and I had friends that were non-denominational. Sometimes I would go to services with them, so I like the experience was like, you know, I was getting that kind of experience from a bunch of different sort of churches. So like I don't know, to me I felt like the plot and what Heretic had to say was actually like super thought compelling, and I think it's like a really good movie to watch regardless of whether or not you're religious, which is why it works so well, because I think it works for everyone, at least everyone that can be honest with themselves. Sean G asks, have you ever seen Body Parts with Jeff Fahey, Davey? It's from Eric Red, who wrote The Hitcher and Near Dark. Crazy movie. Yeah, so not seen Near Dark. That one's in my watch list. I have not seen Body Parts either. Man, I remember this VHS at the video store when I was a kid, though. I can see it right now. The different green body parts with like the veins being used as like threads, right? And man, Jeff Fahey was in some fucked up movies back in the day. I think, is he Psycho 3 or is he in Psycho 4? And then, of course, Lawnmower Man. Like, that's always one I think of. That movie was a fucking trip watching that as a little kid, you know, before, you know, the advent of like virtual reality and all that kind of stuff. It was just, it would be amazing to watch it now and see how it's aged. Because when I was a kid, it just completely blew my mind. And I bet now it probably looks so silly. But no, Body Parts, I have not seen Body Parts. I am going to add it on the list right now. How about it? 1991. Here we go. Directed by Eric Red. Yep, there we go. The green body. Okay. So what? He loses all of his limbs in a terrible accident, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna add it to the playlist here, or the watch list. There you go, Sean. Thank you so much for the recommend. I really do appreciate you. Boom, there it is. You just made the list. Okay. Let me catch up with you guys here. First R-rated movie I saw in the theater was An American Werewolf in London, 1980, when it came out. Went with my aunt, uncle, and cousins. Wow, that must have been a friggin' wild time watching that one in the theater back in 1980, Aaron. That must have been crazy. How old were you? You couldn't have been very old at all, right? Were you even 10 years old? Holy cow. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I thought Heretic was super thoughtful. I felt like Heretic, it danced around everything so well. Everyone takes shots in it, you know, like no one's really safe. And yeah, I just thought it was really, really well done. Fan obsession with Scream and Stu keeps prompting flashbacks to the scene in Independence Day wherein a crazy lady screams, "Oh God, I hope they bring back Elvis." Oh yeah, from the aliens. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I don't think Sean is acting in most everyone's best interest, but it's like he still wants to be relevant and talked about. Just could have made more movies, Sean. Oh yeah, too bad. I should have put it more to the left, right? I didn't even think about that. Really, you know why I put it where I put it, Erica, is so I would block it when I do that. I wanted to block it and not block the horror news logo. These are the things I have to think about behind the scenes. And sometimes I have to change them last minute because I don't know until I upload the background into StreamYard if it's going to work. I can't really try it out, but like I can't put in a dummy one and make like changes on the fly. So yeah, but next time, Erica, next time I'll know to move it on over so you can be a little jolly leprechaun. There we go. Exactly, Marco Polo. Exactly. I don't know. He's been hanging out other places, so he's probably just sleeping. Probably sleeping. Yeah, that's wild. Highest grossing in the franchise. They're going to want Kevin to come back. I think they're going to make it happen. I would be surprised if he doesn't come back. Oh no, I don't think so at all, dude. You're not gonna get that from me anyways, but maybe I guess, I say enough pig-headed kind of things here that I think people expect it from me. So I totally get you, Aaron. I totally get you. Yeah. I mean, I think she was beautiful, like up until the very end. She was absolutely lovely looking. Yeah, it's rest well, Olivia. I mean, she's one of the very first final girls. She really fights back in that damn Black Christmas 1974. But you know what I'll always love her the most for is her saying, hello, hello. Just the way she says hello on the phone cracks me up every single time. Yeah, well, he's been in one before, right? Because he was in Krampus. Yeah. So, and he was in Hellraiser Bloodline. So this is his third horror movie that I know of. There might even be another one that he's been in, but he's been in at least two. But I get what you mean. Like, this is like it doesn't seem like there's a lot of players in this one. It is definitely an Adam Scott vehicle, When I was in theaters or high school, the theaters would do midnight showing of Faces of Death. Yeah, it was. And, when did it come out that they thought it was fake? Or when did it come out that they were like, guys, this whole thing's fake? It's a total ruse. Because I feel like it was just within the last 10 years or less, Yeah, dude, rotten.com. Rate My Poo. You guys remember Rate My Poo? What was the one that I really liked? Something Awful. And there was that guy that, oh man, what was the one character? They had one where people would send in pictures and it was something Yablonsky. Oh, somebody I know one of you guys are going to know in the chat. And it was just hilarious, like little captions for each picture. That's all it was. Oh man, it was something Yablonsky hates you. Oh man, I love that on Something Awful. I think that was on Something Awful. Yeah, I don't think that 255 million for Halloween 2018. Man, I don't know what would break that. That would be incredible. Yeah. Yeah, they came out that they're all fake. Yeah. Yes, prove your worth to me. But people, I mean, you definitely see that kind of attitude. It's, Aaron, I'm sure you know this from being involved in punk rock, the similarities, I think there are, there are the old timer fans in horror and in punk rock that are accepting of the new stuff and looking forward to the change in the subgenre. And then there are the ones that are like, this doesn't sound like it sounded in 85. Fuck this shit. Posers, like that kind of vibe as well. So yeah, it follows us everywhere. Shitheads are everywhere. It's terrible, just terrible. Faces of Death was so overhyped to me by my peers as a teen that it disappointed me. I still haven't seen any of them. Do they look real? As far as I know, they were all fake. As far as I know, it was all a ruse, Let's see if you guys are saying anything else here about it. Maybe you guys know what I don't know about Faces of Death here. Did it not really remain grounded? I can't even really remember. I mean, I thought it did. It did have that A24 ambiguous ending. Yeah, Undertone. Undertone does the A24 thing too. My sons would torture each other with Chucky. Youngest hated Chucky, he likes horror now, but he still hates Chucky. I was the weirdo kid that was like, Chucky's so cool. I was like in 3rd grade. I thought he was the awesomest. Like, I wanted a Chucky doll. I mean, I didn't want it to be alive, but I just wanted a Chucky doll. Okay, let me see if I can catch up with you guys. I know I'm way far behind here. And look at that. We're almost at 2 hours, just like that. I'm not, Jason, I've only seen the first 3 Hellraiser movies. I need to watch. Well, I've seen the 2022 remake. God, that was really, really rough. But I should watch the others just to say that I have, right? I mean, that's the thing with these franchises, just knock them all out. I need to go through Saw and catch up on Saw because I think I've only seen the first 3. And I want to do, I don't know if you guys enjoyed that the franchise emergency meeting we did for Friday the 13th, but my idea is to do that with every franchise that's kind of in a little bit of a limbo, you know, and maybe once we get closer to something happening with Halloween, we'll do something for Halloween. But right now it seems like they're on a pretty good track and there's not really much to talk about. But I do want to talk about some of these franchises like A Nightmare on Elm Street. Even once it cools down, maybe bring up Scream and talk about the future of that franchise. Just have these meetings and bring on a guest and talk about like what's working now, what's broken now, what the fans want, what we think's going to happen, all that kind of stuff. And I'd love to do that with Saw as well, because I know there are a lot of Saw fans out there. There's going to be, I'd want to do it with Hellraiser as well. A lot of Hellraiser fans. Look at that. We got Jason Carpenter giving Bloodlines some love. Yeah. So, that's something I'll definitely be getting into this year. That's going to be one of the themes of 2026 is the franchise emergency meetings. Only been to Horror Hound in Cincinnati. Looking to go to a con to meet the Return of the Living Dead cast and Behind the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon. Very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I would say, I don't know if Mad Monster comes anywhere near you. That's a really good one to check out as well. I don't know who all is on the traveling tour this year, but I know I've seen the Return of the Living Dead people with Mad Monster at certain times. So, yeah, definitely recommend it. Favorite Hitchcock Frenzy, says Paul. What's happening, Paul? Welcome on in. Brian De Palma's Body Double as an homage to Rear Window and Vertigo. Yeah, I've not yet seen Body Double, but I do really like his... oh my God, what's the other De Palma movie that's very Dressed to Kill? That's got, it's like a Giallo meets Hitchcock. Like, I think a lot of the De Palma stuff, really does look and feel like Hitchcock. The other one that I really want to see of De Palma's is Blowout. I've never seen that, and I've heard really good things about that film. I like those psychological thrillers, a thriller that has like a horror element. Because of what's going on. Yeah. Great seeing you, Paul. Hope you're doing well, man. Thank you so much for being a channel member. Paul Pietrzak, one of our great channel members right there. Lizzie with a Y, another one of our channel members, says, hot take, I think women prefer to be recognized by their talent before their looks. I think that's one of the hard things for women in horror because they are first commented on how hot they are. Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, it's like... and I think the reason why looks get commented on first is just because that's what you see first. I know it's not really an excuse, but it literally is just like face value kind of thing, Yeah, I mean, I would say that's why I was worried that I was like, oh no, is Aaron going to say, because he was like, out of respect for her, I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm like, oh no, he's going to say that she's terrible. Because that would have been more crushing. And I would have been like, oh no, I have to watch this movie with an actress I really like. And apparently she's terrible. But yeah, I mean, as far as I think talent should always be the most important thing when it comes to people getting things like jobs and all that kind of stuff, even in Hollywood. Like, I don't even care. Like, if you're good looking and you can't act, get the fuck out of the movies I'm watching. I have no interest in you. I have no use for bad performers. So if you're not good, you can be good at acting and good looking. That's just icing on the cake, I suppose. But yeah, I would even argue too, or not even argue, I would say, Lizzie, I think when people are more talented, they are, like, a byproduct of that is that they are more attractive overall. They are more attractive because they have qualities and, talents, abilities, stuff they can do that make them attractive. But I also think the more talents you have and abilities and all that kind of stuff, I think that sort of, at least in my eyes and my personal experience, that makes me find somebody more physically attractive as well when they're able to provide other, other things other than their looks and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to horror and the, scantily clad women or whatever, and when I'm watching these movies on watch parties and stuff, yes, I am going to talk about how they look, because there's always going to be that 15-year-old, part of my brain that is just like stuck and refuses to get past that and refuses to not love the way women look. I can't do it. I can't do it. But what I can do, Lizzie, I might not say it first, but I certainly can appreciate the talents there as well. There we go. How about that? My high school boyfriend's parents own the local video store. I watched all that shiznit for free. It was a perk. There you go. But what did you have to give up in exchange? I'm joking. I got some films. Hey, we all have them, right? Here's the cool thing, guys. All the movies that you're like, oh, I need to watch that. How cool is it that you're going to experience that for the very first time? That's something that should be celebrated right there. That you've got a movie that you're looking forward to. You're going to be able to talk to people about it that have maybe been fans for decades, and you're going to get to experience it for the very first time. Something that they wish they could have again, and you're going to have it. That's pretty awesome. So I try not to get overwhelmed, and I just tell myself, hey, just pick one that you haven't seen. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's been known for decades. Okay, for some reason I thought it was just within the last like 10-ish years or so. Oh, okay, so it has been a while. Oh, I guess the news never got around to Juneau, Alaska. Oh, it's not like by the time I saw Blair Witch in the theater, I knew it was bullshit. But, maybe a month before that or a few weeks before that, we still thought it was like, could be real, Mostly fake, 90% of them. Oh, throw in occasional. Okay, so maybe they throw in stock footage of stuff happening. I mean, shit, even Cannibal Holocaust has they show real footage. Not only do the animals and all that stuff, we know about that. Some of the footage of people being gunned down, there was some sort of guerrilla warfare or something like that, and they showed real, I think it was images of real people getting gunned down by paramilitary group from back then. So yeah, kind of crazy. Chloe Savini was noted for her talent in The Brown Bunny. I never saw The Brown Bunny. Chloe Savini always kind of gave me the creeps. Is that weird? I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure they would like to be recognized for their talents first, but when you're in a horror movie and you're not wearing much, or you're wearing things that hug all of your features, I might notice those first. It doesn't mean I ignore everything else. That's right there for my eyes. I didn't even have to do any thinking. It's just right there. I didn't have to perceive anything. It's just right there. It's just my brain telling everything else in my body, hubba, hubba, Yeah, I have a tough time in Saw because the characters, man. It looks like Erica's back. I think, Erica, you showed a couple of the Saw movies back last year. I remember when Saw 2 was on and I jumped in to watch some of it. I'm like, man, all of those characters that are running around that house, they're just yelling at each other the whole time. They're all being such shits. And I just remember thinking man, can they all just die right now? All of these people. But I still I want to be able to talk about the franchise, I know what I'm talking about. So it's going to be worth it to go through and watch them. I'm going to just start, even though I've seen the first three, it probably wouldn't make sense if I just started with the fourth one. So I think I'm going to go all the way back and watch the first three again and do the do, That's a good one. But Hellraiser, I think it's Bloodline. And maybe it's Bloodlines, but I think it's Bloodline singular. I could be wrong. Let's see here. Long live the Irish. How are you doing, Princey? Welcome on in, man. Holy cow, 2 hours. There it is. We'll probably start wrapping it up here, guys, but we have 30 people watching. That is absolutely incredible. You guys are Amazing. I don't know how did I miss this one? That's absurd. That was over an hour ago. Erica, I am so sorry. I'm happy that I said hello to you in the interim, but I don't know through my scrolling of the chat, I totally missed this $2 super chat. Erica, I'm so sorry. That's fucking terrible. I guess maybe I really should hang my hat up here and not do YouTube anymore. You know, my mic was muted when I went on, and then I missed Erica's super chat. The third strike might be coming up. It might be coming up. Let me just catch up all the way with you guys. Ghost in the Dark Hills hanging out. No worries. You missed the whole thing, but you can always scrub it on back and watch. We talked some Jamie Lee Curtis not shutting her mouth up about Halloween. We talked about the Buffy pilot getting shit canned and the show not happening. And we talked a little bit about why we didn't see Jill Roberts in Scream 7. I've seen a couple of the posters for Scary Movie. Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. What's happening? Down is up 76. Happy day after. Well, and for me, it's still St. Paddy's Day because it's just 9/12. 9/12. Oh yeah, it was just, I remember this Saw 2 specifically. That's the one where all you have to do is listen to the old man tell his story. That's all Wahlberger has to do is just listen to an old guy tell his story. I know it's difficult, but if you just did that, you would have been reunited with your kid. What's happening, Annette? One of our great channel members. Hope you're doing well, miss. Thank you for joining us. Let's see here. My first love is classic punk, but I have a soft spot for pop punk. Love the Transplants and Social D as much as I love Sex Pistols and the Famines. Famines, Ramones. I don't know. I was like, the Famines. I was like, fuck, she's punker than I am because I don't even know who the Famines are, but that would be a good name for a punk band. So there you go. Even though you meant Ramones, let's start a band called the Famines. It's a very punk name right there. No. Where did you see it? Because I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. I saw some of that interview that he had done with, I already forgot the name of it. What is it called? The Happy Horror Time here on YouTube, but I haven't listened to the whole thing or anything like that. So, but where did you see it, Ghost? I'm curious. I am curious. Guys, I'm going to close the poll out. 50 votes. Holy cow. Let's see how many likes we have. Did we get even close to matching the likes to the amounts of votes on the poll? Let's see where we're at. 40 thumbs up. Okay. All right. 40 likes. And the poll, the original Leprechaun from 1993 is 60% of you said a really fun classic. 30% of you said meh. And 10% said terrible. All right. I like that. 60% of you. So a pretty big majority really dig that. Yeah. I think the original Leprechaun's pretty damn fun. Part 3. That one's great too. Let's see here. What do we got? Perhaps David Boreanaz's best work was his home video. Oh my gosh, does he have some sort of like sex tape or something? I've not even heard of that. Oh my goodness. Let's see what else we got going on here. The Slasher Report on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so here's the thing, Ghost. I cover news here on the channel. I'm always checking Bloody Disgusting. And then when I hear like murmurs, I'll go on Google and I'll do a search and try to find articles that say this stuff. But I know I've said this before directly to you in the chat, like, I don't consider fellow YouTubers, like, I don't consider that to be like the official word. So, some of these guys have, maybe an inside track on something, or they know somebody that's closer to the situation. Maybe this is from that interview from the Happy Horror Time or something else like that. I don't know, but I will say this. I knew Kevin was coming back for Scream 8. If you go over to the videos on my channel, if you look at a video I put out just yesterday, you'll see that the thumbnail says Scream 8, he'll be back, with a red arrow pointing to Kevin Williamson. So, and the title of the video is Kevin Williamson Step Back Sounds Like a Power Move. Expect him back for Scream 8. So, so there you go. Even without hearing an official word or another YouTuber's opinions on it, I mean, I predicted he'd be back, and I mean, that's great news. If he comes back, that's awesome. I want him back, and I want him to have as much control as he wants. Very cool. Leprechaun 3 is awesome. I did that last year. Little watch party. For sure. Yeah, no, we talk about that here on the channel all the time. Yeah, as soon as it's greenlit, we will be sharing that information and all that. Yeah, I wouldn't expect it in 2027 unless it's late in the year of 2027. But maybe. I would suspect that Paramount's going to swoop in and say, Kevin, whatever movie you want to make, let's help you make that movie. Let's make Scream 8 right now. Let's lock everyone in before people start getting jobs other places. And let's get this thing ready to go for late 2027, something like that. Maybe even aim for December. I think the first couple movies came out in December. That'd be kind of cool, you know? I appreciate that, Erica. Yeah, and I watch other, I'm not saying don't believe other YouTubers or I'm the only one that's telling the truth. I'm just saying that I don't go to other YouTubers for that, like for the confirmation. But yeah. I would cut my own dick off if that happened. I didn't even know what to say to that. No, I don't think that would be wild. That would be so wild if they, like, that really would be, I mean, come on. You can't come back from that. You can't come back. Yeah, I didn't even know what to say. I didn't even know what to say. Yeah, give that button a smooch. Give that button a smooch. I just know it's not going to happen, Tia. So I know I can confidently say that if they bring Billy Loomis back as the killer in Scream 8, I will cut my dick off. And I know that that's never going to happen. And now because I said it in that way, in a gloating fashion, it's going to happen. They're going to bring him back. It's just going to be him and Stu. It's just going to be like back from the dead. Fuck it. Why not? You know, for no reason, we're bringing back Billy and Stu because some people said they wanted to see it. I don't know, but yeah, I hope, I really do hope we get an official word on him coming back. It makes total sense to me. I mean, if you're looking at it from Paramount's perspective, I'll tell you one thing Paramount doesn't care about right now are, you know, any negative reviews. They're looking at the money that's coming in and they're like, that's what matters, you know? So that's just going to inform their decision making. And I do think that, I think even for the folks that didn't really like Scream 7 very much, here's the cool thing, right? If they bring Kevin back, here's the cool thing. He gets to do it from the ground up. He's not working with any like previous ideas or iterations of the script or anything like that, right? So there would be a really cool opportunity for them to bring Sydney's story to a closure that Kevin and Nev both like. Pass the baton off to Tatum. Kevin can sort of reset everything because in Scream 7 he's working with stuff from Scream 5 and Scream 6, so there's a little bit of recalibrating, setting everything straight, a little bit of a reclamation project, you know, quite frankly. Screams 5 and 6 did not leave things in a really great spot story-wise, you know, to continue in any other way. So so if Kevin comes back for Scream 8, they can just recalibrate everything, new launch pad for the remainder of the franchise. He can hand it off and also hand it off from Sydney to Tatum. So I think that's kind of encouraging. And even if it doesn't work out that way, I guess we'll just wait and see. But if I, you know, could have my way as a fan, you know, I would want Kevin back for one more, because as a director, he definitely didn't fail. I think the performances, by and large, were really good in this movie. Not every little performance here and there, and you can certainly like nitpick certain moments or even, you know, entire characters. But I think, more than not, the performances were very, very solid and consistent in Scream 7. So anyways, I think there's, light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not really like a Doom tuber. Even when I have, probably the closest I get to Doom tubing was me freaking out about the Friday the 13th TV show and all of that. And here we are, having seen some images, and I'm feeling really good about the show. So that's great. You can always kind of get turned around on something like this. But I'm always going to try to, be hopeful and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of Friday the 13th images, I wanted to bring this up. I forgot to bring it up earlier. Lizzie shared this with me, and she was like, hey, did you notice it looks like a person or something in the background of this image of Pamela's hand? So I want to, oh, there we go. Maybe. Is that what I have to do? That's what I have to do. Thanks, StreamYard, for making it really easy. Assholes. So here is this image. I have brightened up the image a little bit, guys. If you saw my video that came out earlier, I just want to let you know, I just brightened it up a touch, makes it a little bit easier to see overall. And so what Lizzie is seeing here that she brought up to me was this tree that's just to the left of Pamela's arm, like right kind of, the cuff and everything like that. You see this little bulge sticking out behind that tree. Now, I think that's probably like a knot in the tree, right? It didn't even occur to me or anything. And then Lizzie was like, is that a person? And I'm sitting here looking at it. I still think it's just part of the tree or whatever, but I guess it could be somebody. I'm just like, what do you guys think? Is that little dark little bulge sticking out from the tree there? It's a bulge. That ain't no bulge. I got your bulge right here. Anyways, back on track. Is that just a knot from the tree? That's my inclination, but I don't know. Maybe I'm totally missing out on what's going on here. You guys tell me. You guys tell me. I mean, I don't even know. I don't think she'll be going after him. I think she's getting her revenge for his death. But who knows? That does look like a person, but it could be a chaga, which is a mushroom. Okay, kind of like bear's bread or whatever. That's what they would call it in Alaska, like the big kind of fungus that grows on trees. I was even thinking it could be like a knot. You know how like trees will have those almost like a toilet seat shaped like little knot, little sideways eyeball. So that I thought like maybe it could be that, but it is like shaded differently. And I just thought it was like worth bringing up again. I have the picture ready to share anyways. And yeah, just, I don't know. Curious to know what you guys have to say. Chaga is pricey. See, I don't even know. I know nothing about mushrooms. Nothing. Let's see here. I even think above the bloody part of the knife, it kind of looks like the torso of a person and then maybe a leg underneath the knife. You mean that somebody is like laying down in the background? Is that what you're seeing there? See, I think it's just like branches and stuff that's in the background, branches and bushes. Yeah. I mean, even who was it? Was it no, it wasn't Vin. It was somebody else. Oh, was it Jason from Backtrack Cinema that was like, he said something like, this could be even from the moment where she gets her head chopped off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a good point too. It could be like right before all that. We're looking at tree parties now. Yep, we are. Look, guys, we're going to get into the trees in the background. Every time we do, we'll do watch parties for the Crystal Lake TV show. And it's going to be like, and breaking down the trees from the background. And we'll do like a post show that'll be like its own pod. Crystal Lake Trees with Davey Deathray. The Crystal Lake TV show, they're saying late 2026. I'm hoping November 13th, Friday, November 13th, November 13th. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. So, yeah, I mean, maybe that's a reason why they picked this frame, just to like kind of, you know, play tricks with us, make us think about it, you know. Bear's tooth. So whatever it is that they have up in Alaska, the name for it, the colloquial name that everyone uses is bear's bread. So it's probably something similar, or maybe it's just a regional nickname or whatever. Well, yeah, and it looks like it's just a heather blue, right? It's that speckled like blue with a little bit of like, you know, grayish in there. It's very, so I know we can't zoom in any further. I can't zoom in, you know, any further on this one, but it does look like a totally different style sweater. It's not like your Quint from Jaws kind of sweater like the one is in the original. But yeah, it looks very similar as far as the color goes. Yeah, do we think that's a real tree, or is that brought in by the production crew? What happened with this tree? Lizzie gets bonus points for posting in the right channel on Discord. That's where we've come to with the Discord. Is like you're getting a gold star, Lizzie. You are. Oh, standing like a shadowy figure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't tell. To me, it doesn't look like a person back there. I see what you're saying about the leg sticking out from underneath the knife and everything. But yeah, I think it's just the shrubbery. It is, yeah. Whew, beat the devil out of it. That's like my favorite part of the show. Beating the devil out of the brush. All right, guys, let's see here. 2 hours, 17 minutes. I think this is a good time to call it a night. No. Early 2027 would be crazy. They would have to already have a script. They would have to be shooting by the summer, right? So late summer at the latest. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it would be good for the movie if it was early 2027. I think that would mean that the movie is rushed, and it probably wouldn't say very, very good things about the production. So I would rather they go late 2027. You know, let it breathe for a little bit. Yeah. Because, I mean, Scream 6, I think, it was rushed. It was a year after Scream 5. I don't think that helped Scream 6 at all. I think Scream 6, like, there's something there that could have been better if they maybe took some time and thought about some of the things that just story-wise I consider a mistake, you know? So, yeah. So there we go. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Holy cow, I can't believe it. 29 people hanging out at the end of the stream. We're almost 2.5 hours in. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for kicking it live with me here on St. Patrick's Day 2026. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. If you're watching after the fact, I can't believe you made it this far. You are an absolute rock star. Hit that hype button if you dig what we do here. And I'd imagine if you made it this far into a replay, you probably like it. So hype it, all that good stuff. You guys are beautiful. I will be back tomorrow with a late night with the Davey. So you're going to see me tomorrow night. How about it? You're going to get more. And channel members, I owe you a horror movie club meeting, but I also just owe you a regular hangout. So I'm thinking Thursday, I'm going to do a hangout with the channel members. It'll just be a kind of like, what's up? What do you want to see? What do you want more of here? And we're going to kick it. And maybe we'll figure out a little something fun to do while we're kicking it on that stream. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much to all the Patreon members, the YouTube channel members, our amazing group of Death Squad mods. Really do appreciate you all so very much. And I'm just going to give a shout out to the folks who, helped the channel out with the super chat goal. Guys, so we reached our super chat goal, which bought us an extra hour of kicking it and hanging out more, which was great. Jigsaw dropped a $5. Ryan Michael with a 5. Jigsaw with a 2. G with a 2. G with another 2. Tia Nina with a 2. Ryan Michael with a 2. Jiggy with a 2. Rick B. Jammin with a 5. Talking Star Wars with a 5. Horror Becomes Her with a 5. Erica Stabs 4 likes with a 2. Antonis Andriotis with a $4.99er. And guys, not 10 minutes ago, Gorehound Gazette became a YouTube channel member. Thank you so very much, Gorehound. Really do appreciate you. Appreciate all the love tonight from you guys, especially with the stream starting out with me being muted for 2 minutes, guys, almost 2 minutes. And then just everything else. I just appreciate the hell out of you guys. You all are so much nicer to me than I would ever be to myself. So I love you all for that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening here, and I'll be back tomorrow. So you know how this goes, right? I think you do. Until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.